Take a slow breath. There is nothing you need to fix right now. Nothing you need to figure out. Nothing you need to chase. Just allow these words to settle somewhere deeper than thought. At some point in life, something shifts. You stop running. You start listening. And when you listen carefully, you realize that money was never just about effort, or luck, or timing. It has always been about alignment. Most people were taught to see money as something external, something distant, something that requires constant struggle. But there is another truth, quieter, deeper, rarely explained. Money responds to consciousness, and consciousness responds to what you accept as possible. As you listen, don't try to analyze. Let the mind soften. Because when resistance fades, energy begins to reorganize. This is not just an audio. It's a space, and something subtle is already shifting. Money does not begin as numbers, paper, or digital screens. Before it becomes visible, it exists as movement. Everything that manifests in the physical world is first shaped in the unseen. An idea, a belief, a state of being. Money follows the same universal principle. It responds to frequency. That is why two people can work equally hard and experience completely different financial realities. One operates from trust, the other from fear. And energy always chooses the path of least resistance. When money is associated with stress, guilt, or tension, it hesitates. When it is associated with clarity and trust, it flows. Trying to control money through anxiety only creates distance. Allowing it through alignment creates access. Money is neutral. It does not judge. It amplifies. And when you begin to see money as responsive energy, not something to fight, your body relaxes. Your mind softens. Your decisions shift. Silent affirmation. Money is safe energy. It moves in cooperation with me. Nothing needs to be forced. Recognition opens the flow. Scarcity never starts outside. It always begins as an internal agreement. Beliefs absorbed early in life quietly shape financial boundaries. What you heard, what you observed, what you normalized. Money changes people. Spiritual people shouldn't want wealth. Security requires sacrifice. These ideas don't disappear on their own. They become invisible limits. Many people want abundance, but feel unsafe receiving it. Others desire stability, but associate money with loss or conflict. This inner contradiction creates energetic tension, and energy does not flow through tension. You don't receive what you want most. You receive what feels safe to allow. That's why effort alone doesn't change results. Awareness does. When guilt dissolves, space opens. When fear softens, movement begins. Silent affirmation. It is safe for me to prosper. I allow financial ease into my life. Nothing needs to be justified. Nothing needs to be proven. Flow begins with permission. Most people underestimate the power of their own voice. Every word you repeat becomes an instruction, sent into the invisible field that organizes your experiences. Life does not respond to what you hope for occasionally. It responds to what you declare consistently. When someone says, "Money never stays with me," even casually, that statement becomes an energetic agreement. When they repeat, "Everything is getting harder," they reinforce contraction. When they say, "Whenever I have extra," something goes wrong, they create a loop of loss. Energy does not question meaning. It follows direction. That is why many financial patterns are not caused by circumstances, but by unconscious verbal habits. Words shape expectation. Expectation shapes experience, but the same mechanism works in reverse. When language begins to reflect stability, support, and flow, the field adjusts. Not instantly, but inevitably. Speaking about money with respect is not obsession. It is recognition. There is a difference between wanting money and being in agreement with its presence. Desire comes from absence. Alignment comes from coherence. As language becomes calmer and more intentional, something subtle shifts. Opportunities feel more natural. Decisions feel less forced. Money finds access points. Silent affirmation. My words create clear and open financial pathways. I speak from trust. There is no need for self-judgment. Awareness alone begins the change. Money is designed to circulate. When it is restricted by fear, it loses momentum. When it flows with awareness, it renews itself. Many people are comfortable giving time, effort, support, care, but feel uneasy receiving. Receiving often carries hidden emotions: guilt, discomfort, the need to explain, or the feeling of owing something back. This imbalance quietly disrupts the flow. Energy does not remain where receiving feels unsafe. It avoids environments filled with justification or self-denial. Giving from obligation is not generosity. Receiving with shame is not humility. Both create tension. Balanced flow comes from ease, from trust in continuity, from the understanding that circulation is natural. Money returns where it is not emotionally imprisoned. It stays where it is allowed to move freely. Receiving with gratitude completes the cycle. Giving with clarity sustains it. Silent affirmation. I give and receive in balance. Flow is safe for me. You do not have to choose between generosity and prosperity. When aligned, they support each other. There is an internal image you hold of yourself. It is not spoken. It is felt. This image determines how much financial flow feels natural in your life. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, money arrives through struggle. If you see yourself as someone who survives, money covers only the minimum. If you see yourself as someone aligned with growth, money reflects expansion. Money does not respond to effort alone. It responds to identity. That is why constant work does not always lead to ease. But a shift in self-perception changes everything. When your internal identity updates, choices shift automatically. Boundaries strengthen. Opportunities align differently. You stop negotiating with scarcity. You stop chasing validation. You do not need to convince the world. You need to update the agreement within. Silent affirmation. My identity is aligned with stability, expansion, and worthiness. Money follows who you believe you are, and identity can evolve. One of the most underestimated blocks to financial flow is urgency. Urgency creates pressure. Pressure creates distortion. And distorted energy struggles to move cleanly. Many people believe that if they are not constantly pushing, something will be lost. But that belief itself creates resistance. Money moves best in environments of clarity, not panic. There is an intelligence operating beyond immediate logic. It coordinates timing, encounters, ideas, and opportunities with precision. When you trust this intelligence, you stop interfering with its work. Forcing outcomes too early often collapses pathways that were still forming. Waiting with awareness, however, strengthens them. Patience is not inaction. It is aligned action without fear. When urgency dissolves, perception sharpens. Decisions become more accurate. The right opportunities feel obvious rather than stressful. Silent affirmation. Everything arrives at the right moment for me. I trust the timing of my life. Money avoids pressure. It flows toward stability. Money rarely arrives through effort alone. More often, it comes through ideas. Aligned ideas do not feel heavy or frantic. They feel clear. They feel grounded. They carry a quiet sense of certainty. But inspired ideas cannot reach a mind dominated by noise. They require space. When mental pressure decreases, insight increases. The nervous system calms. The field opens. Many financial solutions already exist, but cannot be accessed through force. They emerge through receptivity. When you follow an aligned idea, cooperation appears. People respond. Paths connect. Momentum builds naturally. This is not luck. It is coherence. Silent affirmation. Clear and prosperous ideas flow to me naturally. I recognize and trust them. Money recognizes intelligent movement. Most people practice gratitude after receiving. Aligned consciousness practices gratitude before. Gratitude is not denial. It is recognition of support before form appears. When gratitude is present, tension leaves the system. The body softens. The mind stops scanning for threats. This state communicates trust. Gratitude signals that the source is already acknowledged. And energy responds to acknowledgement. You do not need evidence to be grateful. You need awareness. Honoring what already exists expands capacity. Valuing small movement prepares the system for larger flow. Silent affirmation. I give thanks before I see results. Provision is already unfolding. Energy responds to this state immediately. Money itself is neutral. It does not create character. It reveals it. The discomfort many people feel around money is rarely about money itself. It is about what they believe money might expose. When money is associated with corruption, loss, or moral conflict, the nervous system resists it. Energy does not move toward what feels unsafe. But when money is understood as a tool, a form of amplified capacity, resistance dissolves. Money expands options. It increases choice. It creates time. It reduces survival stress. When aligned with awareness, money supports care, generosity, rest, and impact. It allows people to act from intention rather than urgency. Many carry an unconscious belief that prosperity must be justified, that having more requires apology, that ease needs explanation. This belief quietly blocks flow. Money stays where it is welcomed without contradiction, where it is allowed to serve rather than threaten. Silent affirmation. Money amplifies good through me. Its presence is safe and purposeful. When intention is clean, flow becomes natural. There is a point where effort gives way to coherence, not because you stop acting, but because your actions no longer come from fear. When thoughts, language, and emotional state align, energy responds without resistance. Money stops feeling distant. It stops feeling heavy. You no longer chase outcomes. You move with clarity. You act when something feels grounded. You pause when something feels rushed. You trust your internal signals. This is alignment. Money adjusts to frequency, not force. And frequency stabilizes when you stop fighting yourself. Nothing needs to be rushed. Nothing needs to be proven. Silent affirmation. I am aligned with financial flow. Stability and ease are natural to me. This alignment is quiet but powerful. Now, there is nothing you need to remember. These ideas do not need to be held by the mind. They settle on their own, like seeds placed into receptive ground. You do not have to chase money. You only need to remain aligned with clarity, trust, and coherence. Take a slow breath. Feel the present moment supporting you. There is an intelligence organizing movement beyond what you can see. It has always been there. It is already working. As you return to your day, notice what shifts. Ideas, opportunities, subtle adjustments. Without effort, without pressure. The flow responds naturally, and it already knows how to reach you.